Thank you all. Thank you all for attending in person. This is awesome. And everybody on Zoom, thank you so much. It is Mega Camp this week. And so our broker, our team leader, and a number of realtors are at Mega Camp having a great time. Is it Austin, Texas?
Yeah.
So Kami asked Jordan and I to run the team meeting today. So we prepared some fun stuff that hopefully is insightful. It's a participation class. So we're gonna be asking you guys some questions and hopefully we have some time and you learn something. So, but in the meantime, just real quick, for those of you, I've been here a long time. I'm a real estate broker since 1998. It's a long time ago. I'm 1 year old when I got my license. Old guy that's leading the group here today. No, I really, really love this job. A lot of you may not know Jordan Welly. So my business partner is Sherry Welly. Jordan is one of Sherry's amazing daughters, the most amazing of the three. Jordan has been the director of operations for our team for just about 4 years now. She is amazing at that job. She also has a degree in construction management and she is a licensed realtor. She has bought and sold her own properties and also has done some for clients too. So she's got some pretty good experience. When we talk about stuff today, she's in charge of pretty much everything that we're going to be talking about. She does it all for the team. So it should be fun. So bucket fills, what's good in your life? Something that happened, something positive with the business or family. Somebody share something positive. Yes.
I helped lead the PC accountability group this morning because Candy's in Austin and it was great. They all had great goals and for the week and it was really exciting to see. So,
Thanks for stepping in. I love it.
It's fun.
What else is going on? Is anybody selling anything? Any fun transactions, new listings? Yes, ma'am.
Closings next week on the same day.
What? Different clients?
Two different clients, but like I literally went from like an entire year with no transactions, so this feels really weird to have two closings.
It's been weird.
Yeah. One's weird, but yeah.
You're not at the same time, right?
But one's at noon, one's at 3.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. What else we got, guys?
I'm bucket Josh in Alaska. So she's helped me when I'm on a vacation. I'm very happy that she gets to go on vacation.
Oh, so family vacation in Alaska?
The Alaska cruise. She doesn't have service. Which makes That's my line.
And the orcas and the grizzlies and. All right, what else is positive? What else is happening? Yes, Wendy.
Because I had a guy that I reached out to and he said, yeah, I'm actually ready to go. So I connected with Eric to get pre-qualified. And then there were some follow-up issues and Eric's with Boundary Waters. So Jack jumped in yesterday, called the client, settled everything down. I was really grateful that he was willing to do that and it really helped a lot.
There's kind of a common theme here, right? I mean, when people need a little bit of help, we're all independent business owners. So I don't know if you call it leverage, but you call it, camaraderie and people working together. And that has been something we've been talking about since day one here at this particular Keller Williams office is when you need help, make sure you're reaching out because there's other people that want to help, and then it ends up being a very nice, positive, collaborative experience. So, great. You guys agree?
Yes.
Sure. All right, let's go through some office slides. The training calendar, look at all that stuff. My goodness, where are we right now? The 14th. Lead gen hour value squared. What's that?
That is Candy teaching a class about providing value, especially with some of the upcoming changes and things like that.
Okay.
Things you can do in your presentation, things like that.
Okay. Then obviously lead gen, as we go to next week on Monday, Ask the Broker with Kevin Campbell. obviously that, and you know, it'd be nice if you're planning on going to that, or even if you're thinking about going to it, obviously he's gonna come back to Mega Camp and I'm sure he's gonna want to share some stuff.
Actually, this will still be a little bit more on the forums.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, yeah, we'll definitely still be talking about forums. If people have questions about appointments and things like that, we'll definitely talk some more about forums on that one too.
And 26 years as a broker, I wrote a purchase agreement yesterday and put the commission in there and apparently I did it wrong. So, pay attention. Yeah, and then the listing agent on the other side said, yeah, you did it wrong, I'm sure. Okay. So this next week, isn't that a pretty flyer that Jordan put together?
Very nice.
Oh, nice. This is gonna be fun because we haven't been to Kona. I've been to Kona a number of times for happy hour, but the office, I don't think we've ever done it, and it's actually super cool. And they have a great happy hour. So this is just, and it's literally right across the street, you know, so you drive over to the mall and here we are. That'll be really fun. Obviously, we'll have some subject matter to talk about, you know, next week. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but try to join us for that. That's a really good way. It's been a great way for me to meet new agents, to talk to agents that I see every single day that we don't have any, you know, a lot of experience with. And you get closer to them. You learn more about them, you know? Like I learned a lot about you at Pickleball Happy Hour. It was awesome. You know, so go to some of this stuff and get to know people in the office better, okay? What else we got? The panel, okay, and that's August 22nd at 11.
Thursday for one of our Thursdays. right?
Next Thursday, got it. Okay, that'll be really good.
Yeah.
You know what's nice about that is that you don't go to the whole entire thing, you just hear the highlights. Nothing that's bad, but I'm saying if you don't go, you know, you're not gone for 4 days, you're getting the best of the best. And I think that's really important. This is a dynamic market and you're gonna hear from these guys what's happening today in this economy, in this environment. So I think that's important. All right. Night After Dark. Tell us about that. Who knows about that?
The Night After Dark is done by agents. Agents really in Keller Williams, not necessarily from our office. There's an East Coast and there's a West Coast. They're doing it in the evening for some of our dual career agents, but it's free and it's going to be great because it's going to be all the classes are going to be taught by some really experienced agents around the country. So it's going to be really good to see. And it's perfect for those evening classes for the people do dual careers. So it's a good thing to click on that code and go ahead and sign up or take a look at the times and the dates and everything. And I know Candy has sent that out before, but we can certainly send that out again.
Yeah, and you see it says free. I would say that
Yes.
as a newer agent, even if you're, you know, second year, if you haven't done Ignite, this is fantastic. Is it, did you say it's 8 weeks? I'm sorry, is it
It's, I think,
something like that?
I think, yeah, it's like, I think it might be 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah, I would have to go on and see, and I think it's 2 nights a week. But yeah, if you clicked on that, you could see when exactly it's offered. But
Each week, each session is gonna be something totally separate, and that's so
Sure.
important. There's gonna be, you know, representing buyers and buyer contracts, getting listings and listings, marketing will be one. Finance will be one, learning how to run your own independent business, negotiation tactics is one of the classes. So in those sessions, you're learning pretty much most important things you need to know to kind of launch your business.
Sure.
Cool. There you go. How to capitalize on every listing. Why do you think we chose this as a subject matter to talk about today?
For listing?
As a conference call, it's like essentially now it's easier to get paid with listings.
Okay, that's good. I like that. That it's easier to get paid from listings.
Maybe not easier, but more.
It's less complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. At the shift in the season, you know, where this is real estate is seasonal, you know, what happens in September that changes things dramatically for the activity? Every September, well, always people go back to school. And what's more important in families' lives than their children? Nothing, not even their spouses, right? So that's what happens. There's a little bit of a shift. Things may draw down just a little bit. Also, what is the most active part of the market? What season is the most active part of the market to sell homes? Spring, for a lot of reasons. We don't need to go there, right? So with us having less listings out there, with people not super excited because it's not spring, what do you do to capitalize on the listings that you have? And that's what our focus is gonna be, all right?
Fine. Yeah, it should be switching. It should just come right out.
From our computer, from the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll plug it back. Definitely picked it up at first, didn't he? Leave it out for another second, you know what I mean? Just leave it out for a couple. Is it in the wall all the way?
Yeah, HDMI one. Fantastic.
Good, it did work just perfectly fine.
On PowerPoint to go.
There's nothing I can do back here.
That's great.
Right over.
Can you just like screen share it?
Ever do it to you, Jess?
Cheryl?
Yeah. Right. There.
Get
Was
it down.
easy. Had to stand there for a second. Yay, okay. I
That is my very favorite picture of
love
Sherry
that.
Valley on the job ever. Like Minnetonka, poster of everything and snacks for the client on showings, so. Great picture, so what we want to talk about here today is, and this is gonna be again interactive, is what we want to talk about is how to completely capitalize on your listings from start to finish. So one of the things that we do, and I know a lot of agents are doing the same thing, is offering what we call concierge service. Because if you offer concierge service and you sell a listing, you've done an extraordinary job, and that seller says to you and then to everybody else, they did so much more than I expected. They went above and beyond, and this is how they did it. So we're gonna start by talking a little bit about that, because that's one way you can capitalize is to get a referral from that listing, right? I mean, that's a huge reason to do everything that you possibly can to do your best during the transaction, so. Okay, so the first one is a list of trusted contractors, trade partners. So who in this room has got a list of contractors that they refer to their clients? This is a listings, right? When you're listings, okay? Okay, now keep your hands up. Now, of those list of contractors, keep your hands up if you have worked with them personally or worked with them in the past with your clients. So it's not just a list that you got from the Zurich twins. This is people that you have also worked with yourself, right? Okay, so the agents in the office that don't have that list, very important. Because your clients are gonna need things. And they're gonna need a little bit of help painting. They're gonna need help cleaning up the house, right? Getting it ready before the photos. They're gonna need those resources. And it makes a really big difference if you can say, hey, I've had some experience with these people. And if you haven't, make sure once you start using those contractors, then after that, you can say, hey, they worked with another client, they got a good, report back. This is who I trust, right? So Bethany, how many years has it taken you guys to put your list together? Trustworthy list.
Yeah, really transparent. We're constantly top grading it. But I mean, it did take some time. It helped when you are remodeling a property of your own. You get to beta test a lot of people. But we also track every time we send anyone a referral so that we can follow up and see if they use them. And it also helps us get money from those vendors for our clients.
Nice. Like that. Great. Jordan, what do we do as a team when we have to source a new contractor? I mean, what do we typically, like, what does Sherry and I ask you to do first?
Best job.
The office. So, and how do you do that?
Man, send a note to everyone saying, need a referral.
For a specific thing, like, right, we were like, we have never helped a client buy an aquarium. And it is very, every client's really important, but this is one that it was gonna lead to some other things, and so we reached out and asked them, you know, who do we use for that? And then, how do you know this person, right? So it's not just a blanket referral. I was in a listing against a very, competitive realtor from a different company who's got billboards all over Eden Prairie. And I was competing for the listing, and the seller said, one of the main reasons why I'm choosing to work with you versus working with this other gentleman is that the other gentleman gave me a list of people and said, here's a list of people, you know, and it was an extensive list of people, but if you need anything, it's all on this list. Whereas Rick, you said you have experience with these contractors, you'll set up some of this work and then you'll step out of the way. That makes us a lot more comfortable. So again, it's this, you know, it's this personal touch that makes a huge difference, and that's concierge service. Okay. Go ahead, white glove service.
Okay, well, we were just talking about white glove service and how it kind of is different for everyone. So we just wanted to know what it means for all of you guys. Anyone wants to share what they think that means?
It would be great if there were examples of what you do that's considered not normal. It's actually white glove service, right?
I stage all my listings.
Personally, hire a stager. How do you do that?
So I do assessor, I give them, I have a contractor who does decluttering services for them, so I pay for that. And sometimes I go in with her and we help work on, you know, weeding things out, getting things out, things like that. But then I go through like room by room and say like, you should probably paint this from this color or whatever. I bring in samples, things like that. And then I work with the furniture that they already have in the spaces, but then I also accessory stage and I do it, you know, personal to each.
And you have your own accessories that you purchased and accumulated over the years.
Yeah, and sometimes if I get a new listing, I might have to go out and buy more stuff,
Sure.
but I feel like it sells the house.
Sherry, what did you give me yesterday?
We have our own little closet of staging stuff as well.
But yesterday she had a giant duvet cover that I didn't have for a floral pattern king size duvet in our cachet of stuff. We have like 3 other king size duvets, but it wasn't, so she bought it. Now it's added to our cachet of stuff. So we do that as well, right? The little accessories and stuff. It's just makes it easier on the client. So. Okay, what about, so there's 3 different times that are critical. Obviously before, what you're prepping, talking about staging, get it ready. During the transaction, is there anything you guys can think of that is concierge service during a transaction that you might do that other realtors don't do?
The realtors might do this, but we've sent like a cleaning person over to get it ready before people see it.
Yeah, before a showing or
open
before like
house
a
or-
broker open or something. Did you guys hear that? That was a little quiet, but that one is huge. Turning the lights on, you know, before you've got showings or client events. If you've got a vacant house and it's not too far away from you, right? Or there's a way to, you know, somebody else who's nearby to go over and turn those lights on, it makes a huge difference. All right. Open communication throughout the transaction. What does that mean to you guys? How do you communicate with your clients? Or what is open communication? Like, you know, every 2 weeks you reach out to them? I mean, what does this look like? Go ahead, Chris.
Like every week, calling them to say that there's no update. This is the update, there's no update, everything's on track.
Okay.
At the bare minimum, that's
Something that you do.
and then when something pops up, you just call right away and not get under the table.
It's interesting. I like that. Right? And you know, he's basically saying there aren't any new, if you're a buyer, there aren't any new. If it's a listing, it's like, yeah, we're on track. Everything's going as scheduled. You know, we'll take the photos in a week and a half or whatever. But if there's no update, at least reaching out and touching base, that's not bad. That's definitely concierge service. That's a little bit above, what you normally do. Go ahead.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I mean, our focus is they always want to know, or we're always letting them know what just happened, what's currently happening, and what's happening next. And we're always trying to be proactive in communication and try to get ahead of any questions they may have. Really, if they're asking us a question or they're reaching out at 6 o'clock at night, it's probably because we didn't inform them on something. And then our CRM service has the ability to select certain tasks in our checklist that they can see, and they get a daily email when we check.
Cool. I like that. That's great. Like a Domino's tracker. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, we're here.
Exactly, yeah.
And obviously, the counter effect to that is makes your job significantly easier. Because you're not fielding questions that all of a sudden just pop up. Like, oh my goodness, now what? It makes me think of, have you been to, I'm sure everybody's been to a nice hotel at some point in their life, right? What's different at a nice hotel? They know what you need, they know what you want before you actually check in. And when you check in, they're giving you everything, whether it's a warm towel, whether it's saying, hey, you've got an opportunity to go and use the spa, and it's included in what you're purchasing here, and what your stay here tonight. And then they give you the questions ahead of time. Are you gonna need food? Are you gonna need this? We'll provide it for you. So it just makes the experience so much better, right? And you're getting ahead of it. And we remember that. And our clients remember that. So very important question. Well, first of all, raise your hand if you ask every client and every listing, appointment, what is your preferred mode of communication? Yes, very important, because people are really different. Some people, especially younger than me, like to just text, like literally. And if you send them an email, what's a concierge? Send somebody an important email, what do we do? Text them and let them know that we sent an email that needs their attendance within a certain amount of time. Again, high level of communication, getting ahead of it. So you don't find out the next day, oh, you didn't read that email? We don't have the answer that we needed yesterday? Yeah, because they already told you that they're better on text. So we do ask them, hey, is it okay if there's an important email that we text you and let you know, please attend to this? They know that ahead of time, right? There's another one of the other way around, but that's kind of funny.
So another thing is attention to detail. We've got a list of things that we go through with every listing. So the first thing is a home improvement list from the seller, and then we've got an example here of one. They give us a list of things that they've done throughout the years. We put it in list what year it was completed, and then we put this as a supplement on the MLS. So people can reference that and see all the fun things they can look forward to before the showing or after and that.
That's always for agents and public, right?
Yep.
So the supplements, we always do both, unless there's something very sensitive that can be read by realtors.
Yeah, I feel like buyers get more excited when there's more supplements, more things to know before going into the showing. They're more prepared and then the second thing is we'll do a home prep walkthrough where Rick will walk through the house, write down a list of things in every single room that he'll decide if it looks a little too cluttered or paint touch up or possible improvements. And then I have an example of, this is just a little example, but it will usually be like 5 pages long of every single room going into detail about suggestions, and then that with photos. Yeah.
So this is everybody does this a little bit different. A lot of people will hire a stager or somebody to take that burden off of them. Sherry and I have talked about this every year we've been together, whether or not to have somebody else do it or whether we do it. We do it ourselves. I've learned from Sherry to be a lot more careful with how I communicate with the client, what we're talking to them about. So there's some key points here that are important. One is the first thing before we do a home prep walkthrough is to say, you know what? Our job here is not to list and market your house. Our job is to sell your house, which means at this point, it's important for you to shift your mindset that this is no longer your home. This is going to be the new buyer's home. And unfortunately, in some cases, in a lot of cases, new buyers don't have the taste that you do. They don't have the experience that you do in decorating a house to make it as comfortable and as beautiful as you've done. So what we're gonna do is try to attract as many buyers as possible. And if it's younger buyers, they're kind of boring and they like everything that's all the same. They see it on Pinterest, it's gray walls and white trim, right, with dark floors. So we're gonna walk through and we're gonna give you recommendations in each room. You don't need to take notes because within 24 hours, you're gonna get a detailed list room by room. Now, how I do that list and how Sherry does that list, we take photos. If it's a co-listing, we'll take notes as we're taking photos, but then it's easy to put it together with the photos, right? Then we let the client know, we say, here's a good thing. Once you get this home prep list, we'd like you to go through it. Identify the things that you guys can do on your own and highlight the things that you can't, because we have every single resource you could possibly need to take care of those, and we'll address those for you. So you don't have to worry about it. So we're already getting ahead of what people are really concerned about. You put this list together, one, they're afraid of how much it's going to cost. Two, they're afraid of, well, we don't know how to do this, and it's extremely overwhelming. Well, as soon as I tell them, it's all there. So these pictures here, it's a whole nother situation. If I recommended a knob, right? Then we're gonna give them a picture of the knob so that they at least have reference. Now, if somebody's creative and they wanna switch it up a little, that's fine, but at least they know what the realtor's recommending. This goes a long ways, because then when people sometimes our client will say, hey, I'm at Home Depot, I'm at Home Goods, and I've got a rug, it's not exactly like you had, does this work? And they'll text it, yes, it works, great, and it's a done deal. So, anybody do it differently? Obviously, you guys do it differently, a little differently. Is there anything you'd like to add to this?
Love the detail.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
nothing, because usually they're 4 pages, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I love how you get so specific and give them those real specific suggestions.
I will tell you, it does take time, but it's never taken more than probably an hour and a half on a really big house to do this. Because the other thing that we've done, Sherry and I have, and Jordan, we have all these photos saved as we're sourcing them. So each new list that you do, if you got something unique like graphite front refrigerator, right? Well, I'm gonna go to Home Depot and I'm gonna go to Warner Stallion online and I'm gonna get a couple of pictures of those with the pricing. We're gonna then save it in our file with all these photos. So next time I need to source a graphite refrigerator and show them a picture, I've got it. Does that make sense? And so you're being more efficient every time, and you got this list of photos, you just copy and paste them. So it'd be amazing if we came up with a program, but someday. Yes.
What's your average timeline from listing appointment to on the market?
2 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks at the longest. So, and you asked that for, yeah. So, okay, that is a great question. That's a great point. So the question that was raised is, what's the time frame between prep and putting the house in the market, and how do you source the concern would be, how do you source the contractor as well? So as an example, Jayco Plumbing is our plumber, right? And I've worked with Jason since 2001, right? So with respect for Jason and his schedule and stuff, when we need him, he will jump through some hoops and he'll put us in, right? You got to be careful with that, but that's about the relationship with these subcontractors and vendors. As a builder, the one thing I learned is the number one mistake is to disrespect your subs. Because as soon as you're the guy, and your subs are less significant, boy, you're not going to be efficient, and you're not going to get the best from them, right? So it is about relationships. You guys, this is easy because everything in this business is about relationships. Just don't forget that when you're shifting over and you're hoping somebody get new business when you're hiring to clean a home, right? So, were we respectful in hiring you to clean? Yes. Thank you so much. I mean, it was just.
We have been there to the house 4 times already.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that's really good. That's different, isn't it?
Yes, totally.
And we're not supposed to say subcontractors anymore. They're supposed to say trade partners because sub means less than, so.
What a great example.
There you go.
She gets a little mad.
Are you hearing this? Yeah, he's like, really? That's funny. Thank you. Trade partner.
Just graduated, so it sounds like. And then the rest of the things we've got are knowing the motivation for selling.
Oh, we're down. Okay. Yeah, so that's a big one. I mean, listening to Shane, Tony around the office just talking as they're trying to get listing appointments and stuff. It's always something, especially Shane, man. He is just constantly focused on motivation, and then he uses that throughout the rest of the transaction, right? So raise your hand if you've gone into listing appointments and you're thinking about yourself and you're thinking about the business. You're going to do a great job. But you really are focused on, hey, I'm gonna do a great job, and you forget a little bit about asking that question, why in the world are you guys actually selling? You know, what's the purpose for this? What's most important? That ever happened? Yeah, even Colleen?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell me how you ask the seller and get the information out of them about why they're selling. What does that look like? What does that sound like?
Your current home lacking that you'd like in your next home.
That's good. Because you're gonna advertise that.
No, but it does make me aware of what are things that other buyers might see.
That's fantastic, right? They're like, yeah, we got 3 kids and we have 4 bedrooms. However, the 2 upper bedrooms are so dang small that our kids have outgrown them. Now it's a win-win. She knows what she's looking at the next house with them. You know, she also knows that's a little bit of an objection with this current house and how you're gonna handle that. That's good. What else? Yes.
Basically, can you tell me more about where you're gonna be moving to? Must be beautiful. And kind of, that way they can compare and contrast, you know, the door.
So they've already found something, they're moving to Colorado, they got a house secured, and yeah, and that's obviously really important. So I think that's great. Okay? Okay, this is another attention to detail. Raise your hand if on every single listing you pull the permits. Okay, a couple people. Right, if you don't know how to do that, it's a little tricky, right? I mean, you do it on these different sites, but are most of the sites, you know, you can
Yeah,
work your
the
way through
bigger
it?
cities are obviously easier. Small towns are gonna be harder. You might have to make a phone call.
She loves making phone calls.
Shorewood charged me $11.
Nice. Of course they did. Funny.
But it was worth
So you guys,
public
yeah.
information.
So let's just talk briefly about this, because this is a huge advantage for us when we're listing houses, to understand what work has been done in that home, regardless of what the seller says, because permit history is gonna go back to when the house was built. Now, you're not gonna know everything that was done, because some people hire trade partners to do work on their house, and they don't pull permits, right? Now, where's the advantage when you go to sell, and you know that, when your client who you don't know, they bought the house, the basement was unfinished, right? So it's a modified 2-story with an unfinished basement. Now you go into the listing appointment and they told you, because you prepped prior, you go in, you know, they finished the basement. So they have 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a bar, an entertainment, you know, the whole entertainment room, and then an unfinished storage room down there. Well, Jordan easily in the city of Plymouth pulled all the permits before I went on the listing appointment, you know, which she can easily do in these bigger cities. And there's no permits for electrical, plumbing, framing, installation in the basement, none. So it's like, okay, that's a really good thing to know. So in our listing appointment, this basement looks amazing. Notice that you guys didn't pull any permits. Okay, who did the work? Find out who did the work. They're like, oh, we hired Lacey to do it. They're best friends, and we told them not to pull a permit. So I mean, that would be amazing, right? But better yet, Charles Cutt. So, and Homer's told us we didn't need a permit, so we didn't pay the money. Anyway, so this is really, really helpful, and it can just be something else that you know about house.
Our next kind of topic is enhanced marketing strategies. So we do just list and just sold to flyers to our sphere. We do that through MailChimp. We make it on Canva, send it out through MailChimp. When a transaction closes, we put their email in a MailChimp, add it to a tag that says Sphere 2024, and then they can opt in, opt out if they want. And then I'll show a sample of that. This is so it's basically the same thing, just listed and then just sold. Yeah, that's.
And you see at the bottom, we always try to do a call to action. You know, now's a great time to sell. Well, it is, because there's very few houses on the market, you know, and there's still a lot of buyers out there. Interest rates are starting to tamper down just a little bit, so it's a really good time to do that, so.
And then this, yeah,
Sorry, is this an email or like you actually mail it out to them?
email,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's two things in this category. One is the email that gets sent out to our sphere of influence. That gives us, I don't know, Sherry, you could probably, can you attest to this as well? That it definitely gives me the most traction with our past clients and our sphere. Is because when I'm at any event or I'm playing soccer with the guys or on fishing or motors, anything, they're like, dude, you're selling all these houses, this or that. Oftentimes somebody will call and be like, hey, I just saw that listing. My brother, my uncle, somebody has got, been looking for something like that. Tell us more about it, So that is a really good way for people to track the market, our past clients in our sphere, to know what we're doing in every price range. That's the other thing. If someone looks at the website, oh, these guys are fancy pants, they sell all these, big, huge houses. That's a big problem. So when this one's $799, well, we've got a $200,000 condo that goes out to our sphere as well. Now they understand that we do everything for everyone, right? And it's important.
The just listed flyer is also the same one that we print out. Sometimes we do it, if it's luxury, we do it through UPS and Wayzata, and we get the nice quality paper. But if we, just like this one, we'll just print it here, 15 or so, bring it to the open house, or when we have a lot of showings, grab them. Then we also do just listed and just sold postcard to the neighborhood. Do that through Command. Make it in Canva, send it out through Command.
Probably the most important variable here, or opportunity to get another listing. How do the public know that you are a successful realtor in any given neighborhood?
Your signage.
Your sold sign. Your sold sign. Not your sign. Your sign is going to be like, oh, Colleen, she looks nice. She's got a cute dog, right? And then it's on the market for 3 months. And then the sign's gone. That sold sign, the absolute guarantee that you are a successful and effective realtor is when you sell a house in a neighborhood. Why would you not capitalize in that neighborhood? Now if it's Lino Lakes, probably not going to spend a lot of energy, getting another listing in Lino Lakes because it's difficult, right? But especially around you, so important to do that. But
Here's an example of a postcard that we just sent out. This is sold off market. And yeah, that's the front and the back.
Why was this sold off market? I can answer that right now because of what we're talking about. Everything before Deserg saw this house, everything was done. They had already done the home prep list. We had already taken the professional photos. We had this house dialed in, and they got wind of a pre-market listing, and everything's already done. It already looks beautiful. It's already set up. Again, everything is concierge service and finished, so it was easy for them to buy it full price off market, and we're closing in like 2 weeks, from now. So.
Will you send out those postcards in the neighborhood? Even if it's off market or not?
Absolutely, because
Sure.
you know what went up? My sold sign. So, yeah, as soon as we finish the inspection. Yes, ma'am.
What are you guys doing to get the addresses of all the neighbors?
Good question. It was easier.
Yeah, so on Command, I think it literally just pulls it. So if you we should do a class on that.
Yes,
honestly.
we should.
It's super easy
get
to
that on.
send them out. You don't have to have any of the addresses, names. You just click 100 homes around the house that you sold or just listed, then it does it on its own.
Yeah, it does it all for you.
I thought you had to go and buy like an address.
No, so it's like $95 now for 100 postcards to be sent out.
You can do it straight through.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Like you just upload the design from like Canva or wherever you make it. And it's so easy. But
Yeah, these are bigger ones. We do I don't know, it's 5x7 and these are, I
we
don't
do
know,
6x9.
6x9. That's what these are. Yeah, there's one in our office if you want to see it. It's really pretty. So,
Yeah. We always have them send one copy to our office so we can see it first as well. And then we'll send out usually 100.
yeah, okay. Believes that open houses are effective. Okay, that's good. One of the things that we talked about in our listing presentation is, and this was 2 years ago that I got this information from National Association of Realtors. I think it came from AG. But at that time, 2 years ago, 7% of homes were sold directly related to an open house. And 15.2% of homes were sold directly related to a sign in a yard. We're like, weird, why? Well, people are in town, when people are looking around, when they're driving around in new areas, they're driving through neighborhoods, they see a sign, they make the call. So location, 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 right? We're seeing that was one of the deals. We then went back, Sherry and I went back and we figured out, well, how many houses did we sell this year directly related to an open house? 25.5% of all of our listings sold directly related to an open house. Why? So this whole class, this whole discussion is full circle. Concierge service, know everything about the house, dial the house in, get it ready. When I do, and Sherry does a walkthrough, an initial walkthrough, what are we learning about? We're learning about the objections with the house. And then what do we do? Stop at that? We're like, oh, I know that this is an objection. I know that the deck is cedar and you can see it's rotted, the railing needs to be redone, so on and so forth. It's good to know. We never, ever do that. We call or take pictures while we're there, take quick dimensions while we're there, and send that information to our two, what do we call them? Trade partners, and have them give us an estimate. Say, don't spend too much time on it. It's just pre-listing, but please give us an estimate on putting Trex decking and new aluminum railing, because that is going to be a huge problem for people and this giant deck, and it's overlooking a pond. So it's going to be important for us to know, right? So we're handling those objections ahead of time. So, and knowing the house, if you don't know the house, you remember, and we've talked about this before. Thank you. Actually, all three of us are in this room. Colleen was out of town. She had a listing of one of her friends who's a realtor here, commercial realtor here, amazing house. Colleen gave us all kinds of information because she's a great realtor. Sherry and I are like, let's do this. It's going to be insanely busy. 800, 900,000 Plymouth, Wayzata schools. It's going to be crazy busy. Can't do it alone in big house. So we met the homeowners and walked through the house with the homeowners, and they told us everything about it. So that house sold in multiple offers. That weekend, we had 2 other buyers that we've since closed from that was not our objective. It was to help Colleen sell the house. But because we learned from the owner, they know everything about the house. Why would you not walk through with them and have them tell you everything, right? So when you're doing the open house and you're the host, now, can we always be at opens on weekends? And are we always available? No. What happens when you have somebody else do the open? You just send them over there? Good luck. Why not walk through the house with them? Why not at least do the virtual tour with them? Give them the highlights, give them the points, right? What have you heard is any more frustrating than a buyer who says, yeah, I walked into an open and it was a host, they knew Jack. And Jack's not a person. They knew nothing, right? They were just there, right? You guys got to deal with the new construction. It's like, yeah, it's like, what the heck? And what happens when people walk into your new construction and your agents are actually experienced with the product that they're selling?
Well, they engage with you then and you can have a great conversation with them.
Awesome. It's all the different world. So very, very good. Okay, good. Sign-in sheets. Yeah.
Rachel was the one that had the.
There she is over it.
Awesome.
Larson.
Larson.
I answered it though.
Rachel, can you share with the group what you do for sign-in sheets and how that works for you? Because now our whole team has implemented that since then. What do you do?
I do individual, because I learned that like if you had the one piece of paper that they would like copy with whatever the person above, like if the person above didn't put an email or phone number, then next person would, and it's like a lot of times you don't have time to like forge a fake one to like make other people write their own. And then you also have to remember that you did that. But I just have individual sign-in sheets, and a lot of times I have clipboards.
Yes.
And I will like just like hand the clipboard, and when you hand something to someone, they kind of like can't not grab it.
Awesome. So she did a open house with me, and we had 50 something people come through. It's ridiculous in Richfield. And she had these cute little half clipboards, amazing, right? With a half sheet, just information to fill out. And a couple of things that stood out with that is that one, either one of us would say, hey, do you mind signing in? Well, just have 4 or 5 of them. So people have them. So other people are signing in. They're like, oh, they're signing in, we'll sign in. So they all signed in. Then when they hand it back to us, I'm like, dude with long black hair, red shirt, and 3-year-old child. And then some notes about what they thought about the house on the back, right? And then boom, we throw it in the little pile. That's also helpful because how are you going to remember everybody, right? You got to have something to reference. And when they're individual, so that works really well. So we've got copies. This is fun. Who's ever done a neighborhood exclusive pre-open house? Colleen, what did you do?
I first door-knocked the neighborhood and told them, this is just for you. And they would be like, well, we're not buying. I'm like, no, this is a neighborhood. This is just because you guys are really important. And maybe, just maybe, somebody who wants to live near you. Has anyone ever told you that they like your neighborhood?
Yep. I mean, think about it. Family and friends move into neighborhoods that are good neighborhoods. If it's a good neighborhood and you know that neighborhood's attractive and stuff doesn't sell very often, put some focus on that. And you did a separate event, correct? A separate open for them?
I've done both separate and I've done an hour before.
So, and that both of those can work very, very well. You invite the neighbors 1 hour before, you have some snacks, some mimosas for them or something, just something fun, coffee, whatever, and some snacks. Show them, hey, we appreciate you. Now they know, first of all, every neighbor wants to go in that house because probably one of them has been in that house, and it's like, I want to see my neighbor's house. They're going to know somebody. Very good. But
We like to do virtual tours.
yeah, so there's while we're waiting for it, there is a mindset here, difference, and not everybody's going to be on the same page. A lot of realtors will provide a small amount of information so that they can attract questions and comments about a house. Other realtors will provide an extraordinary amount of information so that the people who go through the home are actually legitimate buyers by the time they go through the home, right? Those are 2 very, very different mindsets. I'm not going to say that either one of them is wrong, except for the first one, but they're both fine. They're both good. And I want to just have a short conversation about that. Do you guys think that it's better to provide as much information about the house as possible so that we're not wasting time? Or is there an opportunity to capture more buyers and more sellers if we provide less information on marketing? Chris?
I don't know who said this, but someone said this in our office, and it kind of stuck out to me. It said, your first showing isn't the showing that they schedule on showing time, it's photos they see online. And this is just kind of taking that to a whole nother level. So I like that.
So what if people, thank you very much, Chris. What if people are particular and they hate, laminate flooring? They, whether it's Wilson Art or it's, and well, they can see the floor here and see that this is a solid floor, right? I mean, they're seeing everything 360 degrees. That's important. You can take an actual tour and there's this fun little song and stuff to it. But this is what people are doing, what Jordan's doing. They're checking it out. So when you get a showing, it's like, pretty good chance that they've already seen all this. And we know that this is going to be a buyer that's done their research, right?
Is there a way to check how many visitors you have going to that link? You check the analytics of who actually clicks on that?
I
get a little beep that tells
Typically
me.
there is.
What else we got? Staging, what do you guys do for staging? I know we talked a little bit about doing our own staging, but do you guys have staging resources in the event that the clients actually, vacate the house and they move to Colorado before you get an opportunity to sell it, so now the house is vacant. When is it, actually, you construction guys in the room, when is it okay and acceptable to sell a vacant house, you think? Never, that's,
We use Chazen out of Vicella, does a great job.
you just Stephanie, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we have multiple different stages for different types of houses. I would say the only acceptable time to sell a vacant house is if that house, and it'll always sell better with staging, always. If that house is absolutely perfect and the condition of the home and the finish of the home are enough to sell the house. Rare occasion you're gonna find a house like that, right? So putting the stuff in there is gonna make a big difference, having more than one contractor. Details. You guys just throw your photos online or you do them in order? Okay, and what is your order?
Depends on what's most appealing to the home. Maybe the home doesn't have a pool or the backyard is great, so maybe with a front yard shot.
Good?
Courtney was saying that,
Like the most appealing is rural. We usually do the outside of the front one first, but if they have like a cool backyard, then
or
we
condo.
yeah, then we probably do that. But for condos, we usually start with the inside.
Yes. So keep in mind that it was within the last year that somebody provided a statistic that said the average buyer will look at 8 photos before they move on. 8. So those first 8 photos are pretty important. Okay, so go ahead, Courtney.
And we pick the best 5. So we even go lower than 8.
So you put those in order. Got it. So we've done consistently, we feel that there's certain parts of the house that are more significant and more valuable and important than other parts of the house. So we always put the very best exterior photo, the front elevation photo, unless it's really, really bad, then we'll put the rear. We never do an interior photo first unless it's condo, right? Front, back, aerial, and then we move to the kitchen. We do the kitchen because kitchens are almost always the nicest part of a house because people spend money on them. Kitchen, primary owner suite, main living area, and then we go down from there, right? And so again, as long as you're thoughtful about it and you're doing this and not just putting them on there, is all those things are gonna make a difference, okay? How do we do our description? How do you guys do a description? Make it up? Where are you getting your info from? Come on, this is not an easy one. Descriptions are not easy.
There's a combination of the walkthroughs that they do with homeowners, any permit stuff that they've done, or any updates that they've done. We use AI to get us started, and then we can adjust from there, but any like home improvement that increases value. Allow.
Okay? Get started. Okay? Lee? Where do you get it from?
Usually the homeowner.
Okay?
I also look at other property in the area that's 100,000 higher than what my listing is. And see what they're saying about the neighborhood. Because I don't always know everything about every neighborhood.
That's thankful to get one. But there's a lot of different sources. There's the old MLS listings, right, which you can use. The home prep list, the home improvement list we already went through, super helpful when you're doing a description. Anything that the homeowners, we actually have another sheet that we give them, what's it called, the color questionnaire. Yeah, ask them what they like most about their house. We already have that ahead of time, and put those together. I use AI a little differently. I don't use it in the beginning. I create the description, plug it into AI, let them improve it, and then go back and tweak it so it actually sounds, it might have been. But
I think your opening line is really important. Like, a lot of times I see, welcome to 123 Main Street. You already know it's 123 Main Street, right? Like, we recently listed one in New Hope and it sold the first day on the market, where I think the description started with something to the effect of a combination of turnkey and equity building opportunity. opportunity because they updated the upstairs split, but the downstairs is still unfinished. So trying to find ways that it was gonna know exactly what they're walking into, like, hey, part of it's turnkey, all the mechanicals, exterior, that's all been done, but you still have opportunity as a first time home buyer, build equity by finishing the basement. So really, but then, and you have to think of that based on price point, right? Who is your, and I think I shared this a couple weeks ago, but always thinking about who is probably going to be the buyer of the property. I would never start a description that way on $1 million house.
Yeah, luxurious acreage estate, right? Someone who's looking for something big, and that's very, very
Another
good.
tip, we were trying to find the site because sometimes when you're staging a house, only need 1 or 2 pieces of furniture, like their couch is just like destroyed by their cat or something like that. There is a website called Fort, Fort, where you can rent just a single piece of furniture, and it's super reasonable. So we rented like just a couch or just a bedroom set, and it's pennies on the dollar compared to any other stager.
And they deliver and pick up.
Or furniture, yeah, they do a lot of it all the time, so that's a great resource. That's Ford Furniture, QRT. Thank you, that's really helpful.
Okay, well, we're running out of time a little bit, so we'll just say social media is very important. Everyone knows that. Just being active on there. We're not good at that. I'm not very good at that, I'll say. But I think that definitely enhances marketing strategies. If you have your own business account, you're reposting it on your personal account if you don't want to mix the two. Personal preference, but yeah. And then pre-advertisement in the office, sending your wants and needs to Lydia, so she can turn around every week. It's a great way to get that out there.
Sure. One comment on don't make it harder on yourself. Use Canva to resize stuff that you're already creating. Have a listing flyer or just it or just a card. Use Canva to resize it. Image.
That's cool.
Like, don't make it harder than it has to be.
And pricing strategy, we're gonna talk about our 3-phase their market analysis. Just kind of show your knowledge that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes left and we can do this in 2 minutes. We're not gonna get to, this actually rolls over to getting the price adjustment. And that's one of the things, Colleen, this is what I talked to you about, right? So this is very simple. In the listing presentation, this is what we say to the prospective seller. We do a market analysis a little bit different than other realtors. We actually do 3 phases of market analysis, okay? And we'll send this to everyone. The first phase of the market analysis is where we compare homes. Well, we compare your home with homes that have sold that have similar characteristics, okay? Same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, we bracket everything, about the same age, same style, same location. That's our first phase. That's where most realtors stop. And that's where appraisers stop, because that's their job. They stop at that process. The second phase of the market analysis is, before I get to that, let me ask you, there are 3 important things in real estate. What are they?
Position, location.
We give you the first one, location. And what's the third, Chris? Location, location, location. So now that we know, compared to other properties in the city, Plymouth, we need to focus on your neighborhood, because if we come up with a value of $700,000 to sell your house, we find out that every other house in your neighborhood is sold for under 600 in the past 20 years. We know we're the highest priced neighborhood, the highest priced home in the neighborhood, right? So where do we want to be? Best case scenarios are towards the bottom or in the middle, okay? But either way, it's going to give us a really good indication as to what we're going to need to do to get your house sold. Does that make sense? And that's important. The third is where we kind of double check our math. So the third phase is where we've identified a price range, and now we're going to look at everything else that's active in the market in that price range. What's that going to do for us? If we end up with 8 active properties and 7 of them are built in 2023 or 2024, we know that this 2002 house you're selling is competing against new construction. What are the pluses and minuses? The advantage is everything in your house is done. You have a big lot. The disadvantage is that every other house that people are looking at are just about perfect, brand new, and they're touched up with the newer trends, grays and whites, that sort of stuff. That'll help us decide what to do with your house based on the competition. The other advantage of looking at what's active is when there's one, you're the only other one in the market, you just gotta be better than that one, right? And if there's 24, then we know that we've got some serious competition. Okay? Anyone wants to know more about those, we'll share that, how we do that, in a little bit more detail, just ask us, and, we can send you. Just for timing, because we wanna finish on time, which is right now, any real big questions or ahas or anything that you wanna? Some other day we'll talk about how Jordan gets. All right, thank you so much, everybody have a great day.